There is a moment most people never reach, a moment where you stop explaining yourself, stop begging for understanding, stop trying to fix what was never yours to fix, a moment where you simply turn around and walk away. And that moment changes everything. Most people think walking away is weakness. They think staying, fighting, proving yourself. That is where strength lives. They have been told their whole lives that quitting is failure, that leaving means you lost. The Stoics saw it completely differently. To the Stoics, knowing when to walk away was not weakness. It was one of the highest expressions of wisdom, self-respect, and inner power a human being could demonstrate. In this video, I'm going to share with you 13 Stoic lessons on why walking away is your greatest power, and how mastering this one ability will change every relationship, every situation, and every area of your life. Before we begin, go to the comments right now and write, "I walk away with dignity." Make that commitment to yourself before this video ends. Lesson 1. Walking away is not giving up. It is choosing yourself. There is a difference between giving up and walking away. Most people confuse the two, and that confusion keeps them stuck in situations that are slowly destroying them. Giving up means you stop because you are afraid, because it is hard, because you do not believe in yourself. Walking away means you stop because you have assessed the situation clearly, with reason and not emotion, and you have decided that continuing serves no purpose, that your energy, your time, your dignity are worth more than what this situation is offering you. Epictetus taught that we must always ask one question before we act. Is this in my power to change? If the answer is yes, act with everything you have. If the answer is no, then holding on is not strength. It is suffering dressed up as loyalty. The Stoic does not stay in a burning building to prove they are brave. They walk out calmly and they build something better. Lesson 2. Your silence after walking away is the most powerful message you can send. When you walk away from someone who hurt you, disrespected you, or took you for granted, the first instinct is to explain yourself, to make them understand, to get them to see what they did wrong. Resist that instinct completely. Marcus Aurelius wrote in the Meditations that the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. And the most powerful response to someone who underestimated you is not anger, not confrontation, not a long message explaining your pain. It is silence. It is absence. It is becoming so focused on your own growth that you simply have no time to look back. When you disappear quietly, with no drama and no explanation, something happens in the mind of the person who lost you. They expected a reaction. They expected you to chase, to beg, to fight for their attention. Your silence denies them that, and nothing is more unsettling to someone who underestimated you than realizing they no longer have the power to provoke a reaction. Lesson 3. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. The Stoics were obsessed with one question: what is in my control? And one of the things that is always in your control is where you place your energy. Every situation you stay in against your better judgment, every relationship you maintain out of guilt or fear, every environment that drains you without giving anything back, these are not just taking your time. They are taking your capacity to think clearly, to grow, to become the person you are capable of being. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, but he also wrote something equally important, that we must be careful about who and what we allow to occupy our minds and our time, because we become what we repeatedly expose ourselves to. Walking away from what drains you is not selfish. It is necessary, because the person you are when you are depleted cannot serve anyone well, not yourself, not the people you love, not the work that matters to you. Protect your energy like it is the most valuable resource you have, because it is. Lesson 4. Desperation repels. Dignity attracts. Here is something the Stoics understood that most people learn too late. The more you chase something, the more it retreats. The more desperate you appear, the less valuable you seem. The more you beg for someone's attention or approval, the less they respect you. This is not a cynical observation. It is a simple truth about human nature and about how the world works. Epictetus taught that desire, when it becomes desperate, becomes a form of slavery. When your happiness depends on whether someone responds to your message, whether they choose you, whether they approve of your choices, you have handed them control over your inner state. And that is the one thing the Stoics were never willing to do. When you walk away with dignity, when you stop chasing what is running from you, when you make peace with not having something you wanted, you reclaim your power. You become someone who operates from a place of wholeness rather than need. And paradoxically, that is precisely when people and opportunities begin to move towards you rather than away from you. Lesson 5. Not every battle deserves your sword. Marcus Aurelius spent decades commanding the Roman army. He fought some of the most brutal wars in Roman history, and yet the lesson he returned to again and again in his private journal was this: choose your battles with wisdom. Not every conflict deserves your energy. Not every provocation deserves a response. Not every person who challenges you deserves your full attention. There is a kind of ego that makes us feel we must respond to everything, that every slight must be addressed, every criticism answered, every argument won. The Stoics called this the trap of the ego, because when you engage with every battle, you give away your time, your peace, and your focus to things that are fundamentally unworthy of them. Walking away from a pointless argument is not losing. It is recognizing that your time and energy have a higher purpose than proving yourself to someone who is not capable of understanding you anyway. The wise person does not fight every war. They choose the ones that matter, and they walk away from the rest without a second thought. Lesson 6. You teach people how to treat you. This is one of the most important and most uncomfortable lessons in Stoic philosophy. Every time you accept treatment that is beneath your dignity, you are teaching the person in front of you that this is acceptable. Every time you stay after being disrespected, you are communicating that the disrespect has no consequences. Every time you go back after being hurt without any meaningful change, you are showing them that your boundaries are not real. Epictetus was direct about this. He said that we must never compromise our dignity for the sake of keeping the peace, because a peace built on the erosion of your self-respect is not peace. It is slow destruction. Walking away is not just about protecting yourself. It is about communicating clearly and without anger what you will and will not accept. It is about setting a standard, not with your words, but with your actions. The people who treat you well will respect that standard. The people who do not were never worth your presence in the first place. Lesson 7. Attachment is the root of suffering. The Buddha said it, the Stoics taught it independently, and every wisdom tradition in human history has arrived at the same conclusion. Our suffering is not caused by what happens to us. It is caused by our attachment to how we think things should be. When you cannot walk away from a situation that is hurting you, the problem is usually not the situation itself. It is your attachment to a version of that situation that no longer exists, or perhaps never did. The relationship you are holding onto is not the relationship you actually have. It is the relationship you remember, or the one you hoped it would become. The job you cannot leave is not the job in front of you today. It is the job you imagined it would be. The Stoics practice something called non-attachment, not coldness, not indifference, but the ability to love something fully while also being willing to release it when the time comes. That willingness to let go, to walk away from what no longer serves you, is not the absence of love. It is the fullest expression of it, because real love for a person, a situation, or a version of yourself never requires you to destroy yourself to maintain it. Lesson 8. The person you become after walking away is worth more than anything you left behind. This is the lesson that takes the longest to understand, but once you do, it changes everything. Every time you walk away from something that was diminishing you, something remarkable happens. The space that thing occupied in your mind, your time, and your energy does not stay empty. It fills with something better, new clarity, new focus, new opportunities that were invisible to you while you were consumed by what you left. Marcus Aurelius wrote that every obstacle contains within it the seed of a new direction, that what blocks one path always opens another, and that the person who is willing to walk away from what no longer serves them is always moving toward something greater, even when they cannot yet see what it is. Trust the process of walking away. Trust that the discomfort of leaving is temporary, and that what you are walking toward is worth more than what you left behind. It always is. Lesson 9. You cannot change people. You can only change your proximity to them. One of the most painful lessons in human experience is this one. You cannot love someone into becoming who you need them to be. You cannot stay long enough, try hard enough, or sacrifice enough to change another person who does not want to change. The Stoics were clear about this. Other people's choices, values, and character are entirely outside your control. They are in the category of things that do not belong to you. What does belong to you is your decision about how close you allow those people to be to your life. Walking away from someone who consistently hurts you, disrespects you, or drains you is not giving up on them. It is accepting the reality of who they are today, rather than holding on to the hope of who they might one day become. That acceptance, clear-eyed and without bitterness, is one of the most stoic things a person can do. It is a form of radical honesty that most people spend years avoiding because the truth is painful. But the pain of accepting reality is always less than the pain of refusing to. Lesson 10. Walking away requires knowing your own value. Here is why most people cannot walk away from what is hurting them. They do not truly believe they deserve better. Somewhere, beneath all the explanations and justifications for staying, is a quiet belief that this is what they are worth, that they cannot do better, that leaving means being alone, that being alone is worse than being treated badly. The Stoics called this a failure of self-knowledge, because the foundation of everything in Stoic philosophy, the ability to act with virtue, to make clear decisions, to live with dignity, rests on one thing: knowing who you are and what you are worth. Epictetus said that we should never lower our standards to fit into a space that was not built for us. We should raise ourselves until we find or create spaces that match who we truly are. Walking away is an act of self-knowledge. It says, I know what I am worth, and this is not it. Not with bitterness, not with anger, just with quiet, unshakable certainty. That certainty is something you build through every small act of self-respect, through every time you choose your dignity over your desperation, through every boundary you hold, every time you refuse to shrink yourself to make someone else comfortable. Lesson 11. Peace is worth more than being right. This is one that the ego fights hardest against. There are situations where you are right, where you were wronged, where the other person behaved badly, where justice has not been served, and the temptation in those situations is to stay engaged until the truth is acknowledged, until you get the apology, until the record is set straight. The Stoics would ask one question: at what cost? Marcus Aurelius chose, again and again, throughout his reign, to walk away from conflicts he could have won, to extend forgiveness where punishment was deserved, to prioritize peace over being proven right, not because he was weak, but because he understood that carrying the weight of every grievance, fighting every battle to its conclusion, costs something that cannot be recovered: your time, your peace, your focus on what actually matters. Sometimes walking away from being right is the wisest, most powerful thing you can do, not for the other person, for yourself. Let them have the last word. Let them believe whatever they need to believe. Your peace is not diminished by their opinion of the situation. Lesson 12. The hardest person to walk away from is a past version of yourself. We have talked about walking away from people, situations, and conflicts. But there is one more thing you may need to walk away from that no one talks about: the old version of you, the identity you built around a job that no longer fits, the story you have been telling yourself about why you cannot change, the habits, the fears, the limitations that you have carried so long they feel like personality rather than patterns. The Stoics believed in constant self-examination and constant growth. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that he was not finished, that every morning was a new opportunity to be better than the day before. Walking away from who you were is not betraying yourself. It is the deepest form of loyalty to who you are capable of becoming. Let go of the old story. Not all at once. One choice at a time. One day at a time. One small act of courage at a time. The person you are becoming is waiting on the other side of everything you are willing to release. Lesson 13. You only get one life. Spend it moving forward. This is where all the Stoic lessons on walking away converge into one simple truth. You have a finite amount of time on this earth, a finite amount of energy, a finite number of days to become who you are capable of being, to do the work that matters, to love the people who deserve it, to build a life that reflects your values. Every moment you spend holding on to what is diminishing you is a moment you are not spending moving toward what could elevate you. Memento mori. Remember that you will die, not to be morbid, but to be awake, to feel the weight of your time and to stop wasting it on things that are not worthy of it. Walk away from what no longer serves you. Walk away without guilt, without bitterness, without the need for permission or understanding from anyone. Walk away toward the life you know, deep down, you are capable of living. The Stoics did not believe in waiting for the perfect moment. They believed in acting now with whatever you have, from wherever you are. That is the ViaStoica, the Stoic path. And the first step is always the one where you turn around and walk away from what is holding you back. If this video resonated with you, subscribe to ViaStoica. Every week, ancient wisdom that actually works in real life. And write in the comments the one thing you are ready to walk away from. I read every single one. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. Their words were written 2,000 years ago. They still work today. See you on the path.